I agree with the white people.
Oh,
that should start off every show.
Oh, that's going. Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
you don't want to start the show with that.
I'm not sitting in on a show that starts out with everything that says.
I agree with the white people.
It was sports. It was basketball. It was competitive.
Yep.
And it was America.
What it was supposed to be, but obviously everybody's flipped the script and made it something that is not. I mean, there was situations I think personally were corny,
right?
But it doesn't merit this being a racial issue. This isn't a black and white issue. This is one team beat the other. Like Jordan said, if you're gonna talk trash, you talk trash during the game, not when you're up. The trash talking was warranted. It got a little extra after the game was over, but in my personal opinion, that has nothing to do with white and black relations. And I hate that everybody has to take it there when all it is a simple game of basketball.
I've never in my life been a part of an era of sports. And we grew up watching Sports Center and the early Dan Patrick and them and Stu Scott. We grew up watching shows. Bob Costas.
Yeah, Keith Olbermann.
good old Keith.
The Big Show.
Yeah, Keith was out there as well. That's old Keith though. I don't know about new Keith. But I say that to say all those programs that we grew up watching, I never heard anywhere close to the amount of race topics like on First Take and all these shows now, Undisputed. Everything is about everything but the sport sometimes when they go through the rundown.
20 minutes later.
Now, Chris Rock said, see, that's the thing about being black in America. It's not good enough just to beat white people. You have to knock them out.
I thought that was funny. Did you read all this? No?
Yeah.
Long?
I feel like there was a lot of that energy going on this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was goofy.
Yeah.
How unnecessary?
It was goofy
how unnecessary was it?
Every angle.
Look, I'll just say this.
But you know, but it started with white people calling her a piece of whatever and saying classless, even though there was a whole ESPN segment that says the clapbacks of what's the girl's name, from Iowa, 𝗏𝗏, you know. And I was like, first of all, that's gross that you give her a whole package called the clapbacks of 𝗏𝗏.
Yeah, that is.
You know,
that's weird.
It's just
that's
weird.
Very extremely weird. Go ahead, Long.
But it's like, okay, and then when she got clapped back on, it was like, oh, these girls have no class.
She didn't get clapped back on
and
them.
no home training.
Nobody dropped 30 on her.
Yeah,
all that stuff's extra.
I mean,
they just
like,
beat her team.
What's your angle on it, Long?
My angle is people lack nuance and it's annoying. And this is why I say I agree with white people. And it's not that I agree with. I think Keith Olbermann overstepped. I think the person from Barstool overstepped.
Well,
you don't need
a habitual overstep.
But you don't need to like. It's not that big of a deal to come out on Twitter and like make this type of statement. Here's what's goofy to me. Same thing that Terry said. These are two situations. Like to compare anything that 𝗏𝗏 did in the past has nothing to do with what Angel did on Sunday.
When the buzzer went off and the game was over.
When Angel's sitting there and she's doing all this stuff while the game's over, and then she's following her around the court, it's just corny to me because it's not like she just. I mean, I played sports. You drop a bucket on somebody, you're in the moment. You're doing something. It's over. It's over at that point. So the fact that people want to bring 𝗏𝗏 into this argument at all is corny to me as well, because what she did was didn't she do that she's been doing it apparently, but didn't she do the John Cena thing after she dropped a triple double?
The Tony Yayo thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whatever.
But no, yeah,
she dropped like a triple double on people, right? So it's like it's different because
she waved old girl off. Like I'm not going to guard you
in the middle of the game.
In the middle of the game.
In the middle of the game, like these to me, the nuances. It's like it's different.
See
𝗏𝗏's not even a part of this entire media narrative where people are trying to compare Angel's thing and 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 just is like, yeah, it's trash talk, it's cool. And I watched it in real time. I watched it, I was like, oh, that's corny. And then I turned it off. And then I looked on Twitter and I was like, oh no, here we go.
Yeah.
What do you So I think with the reactions to it, because the situations are completely different, right? Like at the end of that's almost front running. The game's over, so we just gonna front run and gloat because
it just
right?
seemed like you didn't need to do that. I don't know. But, it's just like why did you wait to the end of the game like that?
I think
Pop-ish the whole game.
Exactly.
That's all I'm. That's all I'm saying.
I think there's
but
that
the whole
side.
black and white thing is corny to me, and I hate how people latch onto it.
It's because of the fans, and it was because of Olbermann.
I think it's the media.
Because of course you explained it and talked about nuance.
Yeah,
there's a difference between saying and talking about nuance and the different, and as opposed to saying that young lady is a piece of.
She's classless.
Yeah, that's whack.
Classless
and saying she has no home training.
That's whack.
You know,
But they've been dogging her all year about certain things,
which
and
I
her
don't agree
behavior.
with. Which I do not agree with.
And she stands on it, which I'm glad that she stands on it.
She does,
and she proves herself that I'm good and I can be here.
Because you could have just
things
said
that you're doing that to me was corny. I don't think
I could have because when I watched it in real time, I was like, she didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't call her home training.
Exactly.
And call her.
That's extra.
You know, because then then it gets to be something else, and then there are people who ordinarily might not have defended her who got to come to her defense.
Exactly.
Where are you all at? We kind of had this conversation prior to coming on. Where are you guys at with the additional White House trip with both teams?
That's whack. That's participation.
I don't care.
I'm out on that
That's
one. I think that's
participation
whack.
points, and that's the society we live in today. Just like all the kids get awards at the end of the season, everybody gets to go get ice cream. Everybody gets a pizza party.
You don't
This
want all the
kinda
kids to
what
get
I-
ice cream?
You have to. The thing you have to teach the kids to learn that you
I
earned
feel what you're
that
saying. Yeah, I feel
versus you just get it just because you played. I don't.
That's
really
what
agree with
𝗂𝐁𝐎𝗃
that.
said.
Yeah, well, be clear. Had Iowa won, no one would be calling for LSU to be invited.
I 100% believe
Once
that
again,
as well.
this is about people who thought they were going to see
Coronation.
the coronation of 𝗂𝐁 𝗢𝗄.
All right, they'll see it next year.
That girl is cold though. She deserves every bit of
she's the
pressure.
best person on the court.
She's the best person in the country.
Yeah, and
if we
since
want to
people
talk
do
about
not
basketball,
go to the WNBA, we're gonna see it again.
she's the best. She's the best woman player in the country.
She has nothing to be ashamed of. I think she's the coldest player in the country, and
She deserved every
she
award.
deserved
got.
every award that she was getting.
The only thing that I would play with the Jill Biden thing is, and I think I mentioned this to you guys beforehand, is like, yeah, it's weird that this was the time it started, but this is also this is the most attention that I think women's basketball has ever gotten in my life.
In our lifetime.
At least,
after the game.
I mean, it's up there.
The ratings,
With
ratings will support that.
Everything surrounding it.
Yeah, the
and
ratings
everything.
will support that.
The ratings will support even, because that came at the end.
Yeah.
When you talk about how they measure these things, and they did a
It's
statistic.
2.5 million viewers.
No, it pulled a 9 share, and you got to understand that beats every.
Probably beat the game last night.
I didn't
Yeah,
check
the
the
game
game
last
I mean,
night, probably.
He
But-
probably beat that.
But one of the things is like it's beaten basically every World Series for the last 15 every Stanley Cup game since the 1970s, like a bunch. Nothing from the NFL, of course, and a bunch of NBA games. So people they were invested into watching this game,
Look,
and I hope it carries
watched,
forward to because
it will.
I want. Like, I'm not one of those people that wants to always talk crazy about the WNBA because I've always supported them. I've always watched those games, and I know, I remember there was some girls men need to support the WNBA, and I asked the same woman, I said, who won the first 4 WNBA championships?
She was like,
Yeah. I think.
And it was an easy answer, for me, because
I don't know, but I mean,
the Houston Comets, because they won all 4.
shout out to Cheryl
now we know.
Swoops.
But now I know.
But this is the state of the WNBA. There is no more Houston Comets. They haven't been a team in 10, 15 years.
Didn't know that either. But
See, there you go.
but what I'll say is I didn't tune in because I knew any player on Iowa or LSU except for 𝗂𝐁 𝗢𝗄.
Yeah.
I tuned in because I wanted to know what everybody was talking about. Everybody was talking about.
Exactly.
And so the
Jesus
fact that
drunk.
the fact that this was so big and it was such a monumental moment, yes, I feel like Iowa has a completely different culture than what LSU has. That was
Absolutely.
shown in many different ways.
Agreed.
And yes, they invited the runner-ups there, which is, again, a new
Something they
thing.
never do.
But at the same time, this is one of the biggest moment in women's basketball ever.
Well, you have to wait for a different time to invite both teams because after I win a championship, and everybody knows that, or whoever, we get invited to the White House.
Yeah.
We, you know what I'm saying, do the little podium picture and all that stuff. The second place runner up doesn't get to come.
Look, man, I wouldn't even go to the White House if I won. I don't get the.
You might. I mean,
You
I don't know, man.
you didn't win.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I don't think they could invite me to the White House and I would want to go. Like, to me, it's not
You'd pull a Craig Hodges and show up there.
It's like, I don't.
Yeah. Craig,
Where did
with
I-
a list of demands.
Listen,
I'm gonna wear a dashiki.
I would go even if I didn't like who the president was.
if I was on a winning team, I'm going.
I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going.
That's just something that I can be like, I did it.
Would you go up there and eat a McDonald's hamburger and shake Donald Trump's hand?
God, man.
Oh,
my
no.
God.
I mean, I might figure out something funny to do, but I'm going to go.
Yeah, all right. I guess what I'm saying is I don't. Me personally, I just don't view it as. I mean, I know historically it's been a thing, but I just don't view it as like this thing. I mean, I know it's a thing. I just personally just like
when you said when you said something earlier, you said we all play sport. You play sports, right? Coming up as kids. I think
Smooth Hoosiers like I would
tore that McDonald's up.
Shout out to Smooth Hoosier. As a competitor, as an athlete, and as a competitor, that's what clicks off. That's what goes off in my head. I don't want y'all to be able to come. Like, it's hard for me to shake that.
The competitive nature in yourself.
It's just
I don't play to go to the White House, man.
You don't, but
it ain't.
Just give me my ring and let me go home.
That's not what it's about.
Let me go home.
That's not what it's about.
It's the fact that I got to do something that you didn't get to do.
Because I won. That's what it's about.
Because I won.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
If Iowa and Caitlin, who it was targeted at, isn't like affected by it, then why would I be affected by it?
Yeah, who cares?
Well, this is the thing. We like to, it sounds bad. Okay, well, let's just be honest.
Somebody tell me the truth.
No, I'm going to tell you the truth.
I've been telling you the truth.
But we don't, for whatever reason, people have this mentality. And look, they thought the national championship was Caitlin's before the game started.
I mean, I like the story though, rightfully so.
Yeah,
I'm with the story.
I did too.
I thought it before Caitlin even made it there.
Well,
I thought Don Staley and them was about to get it.
How many times have we seen an NBA MVP not even get out of the first round?
No, for sure.
You know, and so sometimes that person who is the best player, you know, it just isn't in the cards for them on a particular night, especially when it's a one and done. But a lot of times there is this messed up mentality because, once again, if something has been designated for a white woman, you don't give it to a black woman. And that championship was supposed to be Caitlin's. It was supposed to be taken away from, you know, they beat South Carolina because South Carolina had been undefeated up to that point.
I did not have them beating.
So they would. So if you beat South Carolina, that means you already knocked out the big dog. You're supposed to be able to run through LSU. Once again, a team that only shot 19% for three for the entire season. You know, and had, you know, some younger players on the team, and you know, they just weren't even supposed to be there.
Caitlin didn't lose though. Like, to me,
she was on a losing team, so she lost.
I'm talking about in terms of that, but I'm talking about overall the run that young lady had on the team that she's playing on against who they were playing
the recognition
against.
That she now
she won. Like, she's still good.
Her contract is she's going to get,
and she's going to get an NIL deal from somebody.
She's
that's
probably going to make
crazy.
more in the last part of her college career than she'll make in the WNBA.
Because old girl has a lot in NIL.
Reese,
yeah, she has a lot of money already.
Which I think is great that they're finally paying college.
Yeah, you know how much bread they're making off Caitlin?
But that's the thing is, the NCAA is not paying them.
Right.
It's these individual companies. Like,
at least they can get it. Though.
At least they can get it, but it's like, all right, yeah, sure, somebody else can pay them. That's fine.
Because you know the NCAA ain't ponying up for nothing. We know that.
They need to go back and reverse a lot of those championships and games won that they took away from players for taking money. Yeah.
Michigan is,
if they want to make
the Fab Five is like erased. You don't see any of their banners.
Put those banners back up.
Yeah.
Please, because, I mean, they changed the whole culture of things, but not to get too far away from everything else.
But nah, man.
This whole Caitlin situation, and it's just whack, man.
Well, look,
to me, I think when anybody finds a way, anytime something happens, to turn it into some race stuff, I always think it's corny and annoying. Because I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I just
that,
don't.
and like, if you really care like that, you make sure you're out there for Iowa basketball when the season starts next year, and
or
for
LSU.
You know what I'm saying? Now that your little political angle, you've already did what you had to do, and now that you have no more use for these young ladies for your political angle, you know that's just going to show where your true colors are for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
just liberalism. Not capitalism.
We're going to get on capitalism later.
Not capitalism, but it is liberalism.
Yeah, I think you average one per. You've been at one per for
Maybe
a while.
we'll get some more today. It depends what we talk about.
I think we might be able to squeeze
Let's
one
get
in.
them comments up.
All right, man.
I agree with the white people.
Oh,
that should start off every show.
Oh, that's going. Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
you don't want to start the show with that?
I'm not sitting in on a show that starts out with everything that says.
I agree with the white people.
White people. Number one, I very rarely agree with all the white people, but
yeah, I'm not doing it.
I appreciate you, Terry.
I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. No, it's not that it made me uncomfortable. It's just that I'm not here for that.
Yeah.